England will only be able to fully reopen in June if everyone carries on strictly following the lockdown rules, Matt Hancock warned today as he defied calls from Tory MPs to speed up the loosening of restrictions. The health secretary said it's on all of us to ensure that the target dates laid out in the PM's roadmap to freedom are hit on time, by helping keep the spread of the virus stays under control, and he insisted there is no way of bringing forward the reopening of key sectors like hospitality because the 5-week gap between different stages of the unlocking must be maintained. Mr. Hancock said even after the main restrictions are eased he expects some measures, like face masks on public transport, to be accepted by the public on a voluntary basis and become, he said, we're all absolutely determined to come out of this as fast as safely possible, and what matters is that this is on all of us. It depends on how all of us respond. Right now we need to keep doing what we're doing and staying home to make sure we can keep the rates coming down as we roll the vaccine program out. This is only possible because of the vaccine roadmap, which has been amazing, but it's also vital everybody plays their part as they have been doing during lockdown. This isn't just on us in government, although we will play our part. It is on everyone to act together, to keep doing their bit to make sure that we can hit these dates and get out of this as soon as we possibly can. Mr. Hancock said ministers will make the announcement of whether each planned stage of the reopening will go ahead 1 week. Number 10 has drawn up 4 tests on vaccination rollout, cases, hospitalisations and deaths, and the emergence of variants that will be applied to each phase. But when pressed, the health secretary refused to provide the numbers that will be used for each, insisting this is a matter of, and he also defied calls from Tory backbenchers to consider speeding up Britain's exit from lockdown if the pandemic eases faster than it. He said, the reason we've set out no earlier than dates is that we need to see the effect of each step before being able to take. That's a really important part of this. Driven by data, not dates. It's about seeing the real world effects. We've got to keep vigilant. That's the reason that we've set out the steps 5 weeks apart, so you can see the impact of one step before making the decision to take. We've done it that way so that we can make sure that we can do this safely and, as the PM says, irreversibly. So this is a one-way route out of lockdown. Mr. Hancock said the aim is to move to personal responsibility rather than having social distancing laws that get in the way of normal life. He said, what we want to get to is a position where this is just a matter of personal responsibility and social norm. I would expect a world in which lots of people choose, for instance when they go on the bus or a tube in London, to wear a mask and that just be normal, but not for it to be legislated for and required. But the PM is facing unrest on his own backbenches about the slow pace of the Tory MP. Steve Baker, deputy chairman of the COVID recovery group, said the roadmap represents a hammer blow to many industries. He complained, once again it seems to be modeling outdated driving decisions. Sir Charles Walker added, if the data is strong, these dates should be brought forward to open up the economy. And leading scientist Professor Neil Ferguson, whose modeling led to the first lockdown, said the PM should be open to lifting restrictions sooner if he said, the vaccines may actually have a bigger impact than we are currently. Hopefully, what we'll see when each step happens is a very limited resurgence of infections and hopefully very limited resurgence of hospitalizations, and in which case, there is a faint chance that we can accelerate the schedule. But we have to be driven by the data. As the Prime Minister, under the plan all schools will return on March 8th, and rules will be relaxed to allow 2 people to meet outside for a coffee or pick. Then on March 29th outdoor gatherings will be extended to 2 entire households or the rule of 6, and the stay-at-home order will be shops, beauty parlors, gyms, and theme parks are set to reopen on April 12th, and pubs and restaurants will be able to serve again. But on May 17th most restrictions on mixing outdoors will be lifted with up to 30 people allowed to gather, and football stadiums will reopen with limited capacity. Pubs and restaurants will also be able to serve indoors from that date, and international holidays could resume. Finally, on 21st of June the remaining restrictions are set to be axed, in large venues like nightclubs and business conferences